Well, what an amazing welcome that was. Somebody's had a bit too much time in their hands over Christmas.
Be fair.
Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. We're back. You missed us. We've missed you. It's the Long Run podcast and live stream, courtesy of the 40 Runs Running community. I'm Ian Wilkerson. I'm going to try and announce my name a bit more this year because I don't think anybody knows who I am. Just some bloke who just waffles on a Friday night. And as usual, I'm joined by Mr. Chris Ford, Mr. Alan Ballett, and Mr. Toby Frost. It's lovely to see you all. Lovely to be in your ears and
We're back
on your computer screens after a couple of weeks of recorded stuff that we did in sort of like the back end of November. And we've missed it. We missed talking to you. So now we're back to talk about all your sort of running issues and things and bits and bobs and just chat nonsense about putting one foot in front of the other at a regular pace with a pair of running shoes on. It's lovely to see everybody, as I have said. And Chris, how you doing, mate?
I'm good. I honestly thought that and welcome everybody. It's good to be back. I honestly thought that the intro would raise a little cheeky smile on Alan's face, and it didn't.
So it looks like it's going to be a bit of a task for 2022, isn't it? Trying to get out and cheer up.
Yeah, I thought I tuned into Death in Paradise 2 hours early. I was about to go off and check my TV listings. I like Death in Paradise.
Toby's just mentioned that we might not even be live on Facebook, so
okay, no one missed it then.
That's probably because Toby, between us, because we're all friends. Toby checked us at about 6:59 tonight that he was working on the Facebook thing. He's had 3 weeks since we did the Laugh for Lives broadcast, and he decided to literally leave it to the last minute.
Yeah, it's typical long run show and 40 runs really. We've not tested anything since we've been offline, and Tobe's now just realised as you say, no, and we're getting messages coming. So thanks to everybody, and they've just realised, Tobe, that we're not on Facebook. So apologies to everybody who's on Facebook. So I would, if I was you, post in there to tell people to watch it on the live stream, even though your camera's out of focus.
It's well out of focus, isn't it?
It's good to have him back. He's useless.
The fact he didn't manage to poison his family during Christmas dinner has left him a little bit complacent.
I mean, I just can't. Well, when I say I can't believe it, I can believe it. The boy has one job a week, right, to get this thing up and running because basically we haven't got a clue what we're doing. But I say we haven't got a clue what we're doing. Wilco, it was fine when he wasn't here, wasn't it?
Apart from that bit in the middle where you all went really quiet. Yeah, that bit.
Yeah, but Toby, you're sitting there, you've got a camera that's out of focus, right? And you've not managed to get
backgrounds. You moan about it. I put some t-shirt. I've taken over after the best, apparently.
Yeah, but Toby, you can't even get us live on Facebook. What have you done?
I'm just going to call my mate Mark.
yeah. Just ring. Do something. Just keep
yourself busy. We'll try and keep the chat going for a little while. So, Chris, while he's been doing absolutely nothing and been complacent over the last 2 or 3 weeks, what have you been up to, mate?
I've been getting back on to marathon training. I've gone 2-footed in to marathon training. I've started well early, and I've just picked up, tried to get the consistency back, trying to get some form of I don't know what's the best way to describe it. Enjoyment back in terms of the marathon training plan and the process, because it's always hard. Toby and I said on whenever it was we did 30 miles. That's our first, let's call it long run since October, November. So trying to get those, right, let's go. It's a new plan, new adventure, new challenge. Try and get those sort of feelings back and get that motivation. Funny enough, we're talking about motivation today, but to get back out there and yeah, I mean, we had some great fun over at Stevenage Park Run New Year's Day with Darren. Big shout out Darren for his 50th.
Yeah, well done, Darren. That was great.
Yeah, we did some other bits and bobs, been out and about. We had obviously the Christmas 10K, and it's nice to see some familiar faces, and just get back out there a little bit. But yeah, it was nice. I took 2 weeks off. I think we pretty much shut the clubs down for about 2 weeks, which was, time for a nice bit of reset, spend some great time with the family, stuff like that, which was kind of nice. Got ahead on a load of videos for the channel, which was good news. So that gives me a little bit of breathing space there. So yeah, just in a good place, really, ready to attack the new training plan. And Toby, tomorrow morning, he's got 3 hours of me asking him why he can't manage to, use the platform that we provided him with to give us a proper live stream.
So you'll be attacking your marathon plan and attacking Toby.
Yeah, basically, yeah. I think that's a good way to do
attack, really. Al, how have you been, mate?
Yeah, pretty good. Nice gentle start to 2022. A little bit of red day 7, so nothing too strenuous. I've got to start my marathon training because there's only 12 weeks to go, I think, till Brighton.
This is Brighton, yeah?
Yeah. So it's not going to run it for me, is it? I'm going to have to do something.
Do you find now, since you've done, where people don't know that Al's done his coaching and personal training sort of stuff, do you find now that it's difficult fitting your own training in when you're helping everybody else out, or B, do you find that you can't get the motivation to get going?
Yeah, it's not a coincidence that we're talking about motivation tonight. I don't think start of the year for me has been a bit difficult in terms of getting motivated. That's why I signed up to do Red January 2022, just to have something on the board in terms of a reason to get out. But there is that kind of split personality now in terms of looking after your clients and making sure they're getting on it. And then you come off your calls and go, I suppose I should as well. So it's a new experience, put it like that. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out over the next couple of weeks when I'm constantly balancing that challenge of in the one corner being super motivating and then perhaps struggling on my own to tick off my own plan.
How do you find that, Chris?
What?
How do you find that?
I'm sorry. I'm on social media here. I'm doing Toby's job. I've not been concentrating at all.
I was just talking to Alan about the fact that being a coach and helping everybody else, helping your clients along with your coaching plan. How difficult is it to fit in your own training commitments?
Yeah, it is hard. No, it's not hardship because it's a great job to be able to do that. And as I said before, I think in one of my rant and raves that I've done on this podcast is the fact of we're helping people change their lives for the better. We're helping them get fit. We're helping them achieve things that they want to achieve, and whether whatever the thing, we're helping people along that process, right, to a better life and a better well-being. So it's not a chore, it's not a problem. It's time management. I spoke about fitting in my diet where I was putting on weight because I wasn't eating properly because I was coaching late. Where I finished the sessions, and I think I've said it before. I'm at the moment I'm working 7 days a week. In the week I'm finishing at 8 o'clock most nights, and it's tricky on that side of things. But getting my own running in, it's okay. I mean, I finished a couple of one-to-one sessions today, virtual one-to-one sessions, and I buzzed out and got my 3 miles in. So I think it's just, it can, like Monday's going to be tricky for me because I've got a couple of new sessions starting. So that's going to be tricky to try and fit that in. So, and I'm again, because I'm now marathon trained. Before it wasn't that much of a problem because I'm now marathon trained. I've got to try and juggle it around because I go from sort of one big coaching session to another coaching session, and I'm trying to coach instead of run so I can, give some value as along the way. So that's going to be a challenge. But no, it's all right. It's all right. I find it quite motivating to be able to try and find space in the diary because it means I'm hungry that I want to do it. And it keeps me focused. The fact that I do have to run and talking to people about running all day, makes you want to run. And also,
it does definitely. I find that if you're talking about, you're talking about it, and just chatting, even sort of like just chatting on Facebook, it makes you want to get out and do a bit, doesn't it? I see Billy Chapman's asked a question as coaches. What's your opinion on run streaks? Al, you've obviously just started one.
Yeah, Al's probably a good shout because he's just started one.
Yeah, so I know we've had guests on that have got run streaks running into the hundreds. So they're probably better placed to answer that than me on day 7. But I think there's 2 schools of thought. One is it's a super motivator. Once you start and once you get beyond a certain figure, whether that's 50 or 100 or whatever your aim is, you're motivated to keep it going. There is a downside though. I think you can get overtaken by it and sometimes perhaps you're running for the sake of running, and really we should be doing it for fun. If it's fun, keep it going. If it stops being fun, why chase the numbers? I suppose would be the two polarizing views, and people will be somewhere in between. For me,
it's not something that I've done, and I would anticipate that it would overtake me, and I would just be doing sort of like, oh God, I've got to get out, and just doing that, and I wouldn't get the benefit out of it as much as I possibly could if I was at a more controlled plan with the rest days that are.
And we talk a lot about quality sessions, making sure you're running with a purpose, and each session has a reason and rationale, and that can contradict some of the run streak stuff as well. But people do it by just saying, I'm just going to get out for a mile. So,
like so much, I suppose, Chris, it's whatever suits you, isn't it?
It's a thing, isn't it? It's whatever works. I mean, it's January, the red January is such an awesome thing because of the focus on it. Outside of that, I think because you've got that motivation, a lot of other people are doing it, and January, new goals and all that sort of stuff. So it's quite a motivating thing to do. But I'm from a different school of thought. As I said to you before, I focus on quality over quantity in my training. Now, I'm not saying that that's not the case, with these run streaks, and there is a lot to be said for it. People who do run every day and all that kind of stuff, that it can have a real positive effect. But I don't know. I'm in the school of thought that I like to do less, but make sure it's really critical what you do in that time. So it's a little. I'm not someone who could do it. I don't have the mental capacity. I'd get bored. I just couldn't be bothered. That's just the way. Simple as that.
That's going to be our signature. I just couldn't be bothered.
But I admire everybody who does do it, because I would like to do it, but I know myself and the way I am as a human being with my, I think with everybody, but it's just one of those things that I just don't have the mental capacity to do. I don't ever want to fall out of love of running, because it provides such a release for me, more so from my mental health point of view, that so I am able to do that, and then I can deal with whatever else is being thrown at me. If I'm unable to run because I don't like it, then I'm going to find myself down a very dark path that I got myself out of through running. So I don't want to get back. I don't ever want to go back that way. And I think that's the thing for a lot of people, that they use running, for mental health and other reasons, to, for their exercise, whatever. It's a fine balance to get to that point where you're hating it, where it's actually causing you anxiety, and it's making, the whole process worse in terms of, your well-being as a human being. You know what I mean? So I think it's a fine line. So try it. Don't do it though, just because it's fashionable. Don't just jump all over it because everybody else is doing it. Think about why you're doing it, and the upsides and the downsides is what I would say, because it is quite a task to do a run streak. It really is, and it can be demoralizing if it's not going your way, because you then start putting yourself under more pressure. And why do you want to be under more pressure? Life's hard enough as it is, right? So why put yourself under more pressure? But I take my hat off to everybody who is doing it. People, big shout out, people like Ian Wilson, who's just absolutely blows my mind with what he's doing.
This other guy, Trevor, who's done sort of 900 and something.
Unbelievable, right? And it works for them, and that's amazing. That's what I'm saying to you. And you're absolutely right, Wilco. As we always say, it's whatever works for you, right? And that's the key. It's like Tobe. He's happy to sit in that office with like stains on the walls and dodgy curtains and all that sort of stuff. And by the way, I've got some bad news. Do you want me to give it to you now?
Go on in.
What, live?
Yeah, well, it's better. I can give it to you now. I wasn't going to say anything, but it's for all the lady viewers and men. But Toby's now off the market. He's fallen in love. Cindy, who's not a million miles away, has taken his heart. So all the girls out there and some of the men, Tobe's now off the market. So, bad news, Tobe, isn't it, really?
I think this is news to me as much as it is to everyone else.
What?
Is this the only relative of Barbie?
No, I've got evidence. I've got evidence about this. He's not here, but New Russell, he can back me up on this. We caught Tobe out proper. on New Year's Day, like big time. So you're not getting away with that, boy.
All starts with a dog.
Look at his face. Look, I know it's a podcast. You won't be able to look at his face, but look at his face.
I'll spare him his embarrassment, and just before we've got a couple of little bits of business to discuss, could you just have a look at Darren Burrows has asked how he could increase his cadence.
Oh, Darren, yeah, hello, Darren. Big shout out. Cadence, just focus on running with shorter, quicker steps. Probably feel a bit random to start with, but I would say, yeah, just run shorter with quicker steps. Try and focus on that, on even just doing it in a warm up, and that can ultimately build that cadence up and increase that cadence. So just think about that. But don't over focus on it, because otherwise it just drive you mad. And also try and have a look at your hip position. See where your hips are, whether they're neutral or not. That's the other thing. Hard to do if you're on your own, but yeah, that's two things I would say.
I hope that helps, Darren. Thanks so much. Just a couple of bits. While we were away, we were very proud to have received our 10,000th download.
We need like a bell, like a TV bell.
Yeah,
can we make that up?
Or a big announcement, a trumpet, a vuvuzela, or something.
I would ask Toe, but he can't even get us on Facebook.
So yeah, we are very proud of, for four blokes just talking nonsense every Friday night. We're very proud that so many people have taken an interest and like what we're doing. And please pass the word on, which leads us to, I suppose we ought to mention, Chris, that probably the best known podcast in the country in Britain, Marathon Talk, have announced that next week will be their 600th and final episode after 12 years of doing this.
Yeah, big shout out.
We do, it does seem that at times that this particular production is thrown together at the last minute and we don't know what we're talking about and what we're going to do. And there is definitely more than a certain degree of truth about that. But to do 600 shows, we really take our hat off to them, and they've led the way and played such a key role, I think, in getting loads of people into running and enjoying it and taking it to their next step of development. So we'd really wish them all the best. But what I would say is it's also a triumph for the system, because there's no way that these things are just going to disappear and they're there. All 600 episodes you can download, and there's a permanent record for them. So they'll always be there, full of loads of great advice. So it won't die. There just won't be anything fresh. So hats off to them.
Yeah, big shout out to the Marathon Talk people. I mean, obviously Martin, I've joked about him over the few years that we're doing all this sort of stuff, and he's a just but he's just a lovely guy. I mean, he really is an absolute legend. And the help he gives people around that whole London Marathon thing. Martin, the whole thing he does. I know there's obviously more people involved in that production, but yeah, just because how much I love Martin. But yeah, big shout out to those guys. 12 years, they're pioneers. They showed the way to go for us. I mean, to be perfectly honest with you, it wasn't. We didn't listen to the Marathon Talk podcast and think, oh, that's something we could do. That really, and maybe from listening from this or watching from this, you may have realised that. But big shout out, because they're pioneers. 12 years podcast, probably one of the main sort of stalwart running podcasts that were out there. And there's obviously others that have popped up, and some good ones out there, some bad ones out there. There's some ones driven purely for commercial reasons. We are not bowing to that. No, we will not bow to that. I need to talk to you guys about it, because I received a great email this week from another sponsor. But yeah, so I think for them to hold true to what their values were for those 12 years just shows you the sort of people that are involved in that podcast. So mad love to them. And
hats off to them. And just finally, quick happy birthday to Rich Quinn. Top bloke.
big shout out.
One of our favourite 40s.
Yeah, we love him.
Big
shout out, Rich Quinn. He's probably not listening. He's probably getting upside down at the moment, celebrating. And looks like Toby needs to fall in love with a bed and about 12. You know what, JBS? You're bang on, bruv. There's a reason he looks tired, if you know what I mean.
Personally,
I'm not saying anything more than that.
It must have been a good reason to miss the 40 session in Hartford on Tuesday. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, he was missing in action, listeners, on Tuesday evening. He was out with waffles with a certain individual.
I was working.
So we've got
just like I was on the last one that I missed, which I've got something to bring up on that actually.
Oh no, can we mute him?
I want to know. I can mute everyone else though. I want to know a few details here.
What?
I want to know what the backup fancy dress was.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. What was the backup fancy
What
dress?
was it? Because those that didn't see, I actually turned up. I put in a blinder, I reckon.
No, you didn't.
I did, and my costume wasn't too big like some people's, Chris. It wasn't too warm like some people's, Chris. It didn't rip like some people's, Chris. So I think actually I'll put in a blinder there.
Yeah. So what was the backup? What was the? It's for anybody who didn't listen to the Christmas shows. Tobe, we did the Olympic Park 10K. When Tobe wasn't here, Al suggested that he had a backup fancy dress costume for him to wear that he didn't need. So what was it, Al?
Well, it was a range of different headwear, and it was whatever I was wearing. So I had to end up wearing it in the end.
That explains a lot.
Pictures, and it was some kind of red tunic.
Oh, it would have looked lovely
in case it was needed.
It was definitely scary. It looked great anyway. He had one of those. Was it Father Christmas? Were you Father Christmas or the reindeer? I can't remember.
I was Father Christmas. Yeah,
yeah. Father Christmas was giving Toby a piggyback round 10.
And the only reason my Father Christmas outfit split, for those who haven't seen the video, I was basically running around in my underwear for 10K, but that's because I was going so fast, Tobe.
Well, you were going as fast as I was because we finished together. So.
Oh yeah, that's true. No, I think I
like that bloke we saw. We turned up and there was this guy who was so streamlined. Chris said, "That is me. That is me at Edinburgh."
Well, now
I was about. It was a 4-lap course, and I was about a third of the way through my second lap, and this geezer came tearing past me.
That's going to be me and Tobe and Al in May.
And me.
We're well, Wilco, I didn't want to speak for you. I mean, I've had a convo with the boys this week, so. That's how we're all going to look. Come start line in Edinburgh, Al in Copenhagen or whatever far-fetched marathon he's doing. We're all going to turn up in those 2-inch shorts, vest, like just about their vest, ripped,
like cheeky a bunch of 80s footballers.
Yeah, cheeky little beard, vapor flies, and we're going to have it.
Oh, we're going to yeah. Well, I've got the cheeky little beard, but let do.
Yeah, I've definitely got the 2-inch shorts. But that's about it. But
just before we get on to talking about motivation, I suppose we ought to talking about our new streamlined figures and all that. Bit of a diet change.
Yeah. I had today for lunch a plant-based something around curry. I can't tell you what it was, but it was mustard. It was all like Al-proofed, like. All like stuff in there.
I get sent pictures of Nick out shopping now with the ingredients on the back saying, is this okay? What about this? Drives me nuts. Edit that out, that swear word. Type,
no, you can't. She's listening. You're banging trouble next time you come here. You won't get a coffee. Also, she got me these vegan meatballs. Absolutely mustard. You never know. There was no meat in them. They're blinding. I had... What was it? I'm trying to put a few bits on Instagram. I'm trying to be like Joe Wicks because it's very similar, me and Joe Wicks. So I put a few things on Insta, but one of them, I'll be honest with you, Al, one of the things I had was absolutely rank. It was Nick. You told Nick to get some chili or something, and she got me this chili sauce. Oh, it was disgusting. Absolute. But I had to eat it because I had no choice. But
it depends if you like chili sauce or not. If you don't like chili sauce, my advice would be don't buy it.
But here's a sensible question for you, and as always, lowering the tone. Don't you find all this plant-based stuff, it gives you a lot of wind?
It does make sure you don't have certain digestive problems. No,
I'll tell you what, I'm worse than the dog at the moment.
Will that wear off?
I think it does. I've never had any evidence of this, so I welcome anyone's views. But I don't seem to create much earwax anymore. And I don't know if that's because of my age or just my change of diet.
Really?
Anyone that got any views on that?
So, earwax?
Yeah. Earwax?
I haven't had earwax.
I'm really intrigued by that.
Vegan.
That's isn't it? Yeah, but is that because your nurse? Is that because your nurse cleans your ears out for you when she does your back?
Perhaps I do. She does it for me while I'm asleep. Perhaps I don't realise.
Could be that.
Wow, that's really interesting. Yeah, I've been trying to, as I did say, sort of like I might have brought it up at the. I'll be trying a bit of it. I'm having 2 vegan meals a day. I'm doing the other sort of attempt just before I move, and then I'll be going full in. So yeah, it's going all right, and I feel pretty energized as well, and I'm feeling good.
I mean, I'll be serious. It does make a difference. You do feel a little bit more. Maybe it's just psychological, but I don't know. There's definitely something. I've been how long have I been doing it now? Before Christmas I started, didn't I?
Yeah, probably a month, maybe 6 weeks max.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, and I'm not, as always, I'm not fully committed to this program. I'm doing the best I can in the circumstances that I find myself. So I would say at the moment, I'm eating 80% plant-based as a guess. By the time I average out the days, when you're out and about and you've got, you're out with the kids and whatever, it don't work. But I'm trying as best I can. Like, even it sounds silly, but even the gels that we've now got, I made sure they've got they're vegan. There's nothing naughty in them, and all the other stuff. I am checking where I can. If I can't get vegan, I'm trying to get vegetarian. And and it's that sort of is that changing the mindset
Well,
now.
it said on that little book that Al got us for Christmas. If you ever flick through that, it said there that if it says suitable for vegetarians, you turn it over and it's not sort of like bolded up for milk or eggs or stuff like that. Then 99% chance is that it's going to be all right for a vegan as well.
Yeah. I mean, I would have to read the book, but I don't even read the toilet paper.
Look, it's about it's this big. It's about 40 pages. You could read it in about 20 minutes.
Has it got pictures?
I was going to say, is it got diagrams?
I only do pictures.
Diagrams do you need?
I'd still struggle, to be honest with you.
This is a fruit, stuff like that is what I need. When you're in reception year one, I need to go back to that level.
But I lost the stone. I mean, I lost the stone. So, I mean, some of that's down to, mileage coming back and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I've lost the stone relatively easily. I haven't really tried that hard. I've still ate, junk to a degree. Like over Christmas, I was, made my way through some Pringles and things like that, and usual stuff. But apart, in general, it's been okay. But I have avoided our sponsor of the podcast, the Amazing Fish and Chip Shop. I've avoided that since Tobe and I went there and smashed the life out of it with Si.
They were shut over the Christmas. Not that I tried to go there, but just to let you know, they were shut.
It's probably because they heard FORDY was going down the plant-based route, and there's not much point in being open. Anyway, talking of sponsorship, you said you had a sponsorship story.
Oh yeah, I mean, it wasn't as good as Manscaped, but it was. Oh, we got to give a shout out to Matt Harris. I'll come on to your question in a minute.
You cannot move for podcasts that are sponsored by Manscaped for the moment, by the way.
Yeah, we turned them down. We just want that on. We are not selling out to big companies. We are not selling out. We've not got any stakes in any companies that are going to sponsor this. We are not selling out.
Unless it's a really good deal.
Yeah, and if it's a big offer, we'll happily do it. Where is it? Hang on. Talking of that, boys, I've had an email. It says, in the subject title, I won't say from who, podcast ad. Next email, here we go. This is brilliant. My name is Joe from Jonah. I don't know if it's right. He's been following the channel for a year.
Has he?
Your recent roast really resonated with me. I want to get in touch to try our latest advertise. Ready for it? A wet, dry floor cleaner. It's an all-in-one cleaning tool to clean dirt from your floors, no matter if wet or dry, cookie crumb or juice. This floor cleaner has you covered. Cleaning your home should be simple, so do yourself a favour and consolidate many tools into one. I kid you not, I've read that. Big shout out, Joan, or whatever your name was.
Yeah,
you've now got a feature on the channel.
I'd like to think of the 23 episodes that he managed to listen to that we didn't produce.
Yeah, I mean,
that's been on for a year. Fair play to you, Joe.
That is some epic work that Joe's done there to research the podcast and the channel.
I say that though, but I wear a lot of white shoes, so I'm actually quite interested to see if this could be part of my armoury.
We'll pass his details on now.
Okay, please.
Yeah.
You can arrange a private arrangement.
We'll send Joe your way. But so we're not selling out, Joe. We're not doing it unless your offer is massive.
Massive. Big. And Newcastle United style massive.
Yeah, we'll have
that's what we're after.
Talking of that, boys, have you got all your hotels and that sort of like booked for Newcastle?
Yes, I have.
Great North Run, we're talking, people, by the way.
Yes, I have, and I
Listeners all around the world.
booked the Premier Inn under the bridge.
What about trains for the Edinburgh Marathon? I know we probably should talk about this not on the live podcast and stream and stuff. but
Yeah,
It's important advice. You
Yeah,
know,
it's
to
important
help
advice.
serve
Plan your
everyone.
marathon,
the trains
people.
out. Your trains are usually 3 months before, aren't they?
Yeah, I don't. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm
I
asking.
think so. Yeah, the trains can't be out yet.
And big shout out if anybody wants to run up a mountain in September, get in touch via what's the website email address, Wilco?
Longrunshow@gmail.com. That's not bad after 3 weeks off.
Yeah, if you well there, bro. If you want to run up Ben Nevis, email in the show something or other gmail.com. Send that in. And if you want to sponsor that, if you're a floor cleaning company and you want to sponsor that, get in touch as well.
Any sort of domestic product. I'm moving to a new flat, so anybody who's giving away sort of white comestibles or anything like that, you know, I'll take them off your hands.
Actually, I will give a shout out actually today, and they're not sponsoring it, but I'm going to show them some love because they were very nice to me this week. That we last Sunday, whatever it was, when I went out for a long run, and I didn't have any gels, right? So Toad went, here, try this. And I thought, firstly, is this something Cindy's giving him outside? But it weren't. It was all right. And he gave me a, what they call Toad Kendall.
Yeah, part of the Kendall Mint Cake Company.
Should have gotten the name right first, seeing I'm giving them a shout out. So I got in touch. I posted on Instagram about it, and they sent me through a pack of gels. So I just want to shout out because that's really nice, isn't it?
What flavour?
Lovely.
I've got raspberry and mint. And Al,
they're the better ones.
For me and you,
Yeah.
vegan friendly, bruv.
Whoa, excellent.
Oh, right.
So-
Okay, we'll look into that.
Give them a
Good
shout
job,
out.
'cause I've been
Nice
trying to
That's
get
nice,
the
isn't
mint
it?
cake on my runs for fresh breathness halfway through. So it's good
Well,
job.
I think that what it is because where Toby's doing his runs, he's obviously having the mint. He's then finishing around Cindy's house. Wants a fresh mouth, doesn't he? Press the girls, you know what I'm saying? No one wants to turn up with running breath. So,
There we
running
go.
breath is a real thing, people. Google it.
Is it?
Yeah, because you're dehydrated.
All right.
Yeah, so you get a bit of halitosis. So the mint that's got there, that's why Toby takes them. So when he's finishing around Cindy's house, well, there you go.
Good old boy. Right. So we've reached past half time, really. We've done over half an hour. Now, being as it's a new year, I suppose it's a good time to talk about motivation and getting back in the swing of things after Christmas. We did talk about, you know, the merits and the pros and cons of carrying on through the festive period, Chris. But now, obviously, we've done that. That decision's been made one way or the other, and now's the time to kick on. What should people be looking to do to get themselves out? And is there any sort of tips you can give people to?
Yeah, look, we've already touched about the Red January thing. I think that's a real winner for anybody because it's not distance based, is it, Al? So
No,
you don't have to do.
they like you to do a mile, but it can even be just exercise. If you can't run, just make sure you're smashing out some exercise.
So that's brilliant stuff like that. I would say if you're really struggling, look for your local park run. Park run's there; it's free, and there's that social element to it. You can bump into what could be your next girlfriend there. No comment, Toby. And you can find a lot of community spirit around that park run. So I think that's definitely worth. You think how much fun we had at park run. We'll go over New Year's Day, and the amount of people that have said to me, "Oh, I saw you, you guys there. I saw you 40. Oh, you had so many runners there, and all this sort of stuff." And we had such a laugh. So if you can get yourself along to park run,
and it was a representative. It shows what a nice bloke Darren is. That everybody wanted to turn out for him.
Yeah, exactly. So get yourself, sign up for a local running club. We've seen, Monday in Broxville is going to be great fun. We've had so much incoming for our ladies only session, which is going to be fab. So sign up for a local running club. Obviously, the stuff that we do is coached, but we've also got the satellite clubs within 40 runs that are offering social runs on a weekly basis. They're definitely worth checking out. You know what Hayden's doing and Helen and Jan and everybody else, Louise and another Louise, everybody else that, around the country, they're doing those. So definitely get along to some of those satellite groups. But if we don't have a 40 run satellite group, near you, then get in touch and let's start one. But find other running clubs. I know some of them are quite elitist, up their own bums. And I was talking to somebody the other day how they went to one, and same old story we spoke about before on here about made to feel stupid, made to feel slow, made to feel outside of the clique, and all this sort of stuff. They're not all like that. My point is not just look at Wear Joggers, how awesome they are. Local running club to us. So maybe find a running club, or just go and have a chat with one of your mates and go for a run with one of your mates. I hammer Toby to pieces, but it's nothing much better than going out and run for a Toby and have a chat for a couple of hours.
One day he'll just run off and not come back, won't he?
Yeah, but we was out there on that video we did the other day, the trail one, where we hammered you to pieces, Al, because you weren't there. And have a look at the end of the video if you've not seen it. The video's called "We Got Lost," right? Because we did. But have a look at the end of the video and what Toby's eating, the Speedgoat diet. I'll just leave that with you. But
it's a really good video. I thought it was a great video. That was really good.
We went up there with Si. Again, great just to go out and have a bit of a giggle and have a bit of a run. So maybe reach out to somebody and say, do you fancy just doing 3 miles today or whatever? So there's a multitude of things you do. Oh, the other obvious thing is book a race, but you've got money involved in that. You've got anxiety around, can you do the distance, whether it's 10K or marathon, whatever. But, that's another thing to consider as well, booking up a race. Maybe why don't not book a race up and then, try and raise some money for a charity. All the charities need much money as they can get at the moment. So maybe do something like that. Gives you a bit of extra motivation if it's a charity close to home. I'm just something like that. I think that's the key for me. There's I think a few tidbits there to digest. What do you think, boys?
Yeah, I would agree. I think the social aspect is a big thing, whether it is within a group or on an individual basis. I mean, one of the things that I find like lots of people are now, looking at is a big time for couch to 5K in. So how would you, Al, how would you sort of like encourage people once they'd started that to carry on from a, if you've got friends who are just starting out running who might be flagging a little bit after sort of 7 to 10 days, what can people do to try and keep their mates interested and keep them going?
Yeah, I think Chris you've all touched on it in terms of the social element. So there is just that well-being of being out with someone else, and it can be hard if you're on your own. For me, I think trying to run different routes, particularly if you are the regular runner, trying to bring someone along, actually encourage yourself to go and find some new routes, because that'll keep you fresh as well as them. And run for time, not distance. So don't worry too much about how far you're going. Run until you feel like you've had a good session. Don't fixate on numbers too much, because that can come later. If you enjoy it, you get over that hurdle. And as a new runner, you are contemplating what Chris says as signing up, then there's plenty of time for all the numbers, the distances, the paces, the cadence, and all the technical stuff we talk on. That'll all come later. But just get to that point where you look forward to lacing up. We talk about the cliche, the hardest bit is getting out the door, because it is, because life gets in the way. So if you can get yourself into a position where you just look forward to doing that, then I think you've kind of cracked it. But it can be hard. It can be hard in January in England. Who knows what the weather's going to throw at us over the next couple of weeks. It adds that kind of 10 reasons why not. So for me,
yeah, I mentioned before when we were talking like during the lockdown, when people started lockdown, I would urge people don't go off too mad, because there were lots of lads at work started running, and like the five-a-side football type crew, they were like, oh, it's brilliant, I did 5K, I'm going to break half an hour, I'm going to do 10K on Monday, and then I'll do that in under 50 minutes and all that. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I've done my hamstring,
shin splint,
I've got a knee problem, I've done my knee in, and before they've got going and really they've just burnt off too much. Just don't worry about that sort of thing. Just get out. I would say get out there and just enjoy it. Get a bit of fresh air. Get out, the gym's got its place, but I don't find there's anything that beats sort of like just being out in the open and going for a run. What do you think, Toby?
No, I think it is, isn't it? It's getting out the door, like Al says. But I think it's making it as easy and accessible as possible as well. So if you know you're going out in the morning or when you're back from work, have your running shoes near the front door. Have your stuff ready to go. So literally, you don't have to think about it. You sort of get up, you get changed, and you're out the door. Anything that gets in your way, you're going, oh, but they're over there, I have to go and do that. And it allows you time to think and potentially then not go and do. But as you say, once you know, as soon as you get your stuff on, you're out the door, and there's no point in going back till you've done it then anyway, is there?
Which is why he's got two shirts hanging up behind him. If you're not watching on the podcast, whatever you say, but he's got two shirts hanging up behind him, ready for tomorrow morning. He's going to take. I spent
4 weeks working out my decor in this room because you hammer it every week.
No,
so I think this is brilliant.
If that's taking you 4 weeks to work it out to hang two shirts up, we've got. I mean, the fact that you can't even get us on Facebook tonight on your first week back.
That's Mark's fault. That is.
This is extremely disappointing.
It might have been 4 minutes before we.
Yeah, 4 minutes. It is true. It was only 4 minutes before we came online as always.
Problem with the white shirt, it's not helping with your pale complexion.
Yeah, it's true. You've got to sort your lighting out.
Add the purple one closer to your face.
Does anybody? If anybody listens to this on the podcast, obviously live stream, can you email in at
whateverit.com@gmail.com.
If you're a painter and decorator and you're happy to travel to Nazing, and help Tobe out because the boy,
fish and chips.
Yeah, I'll buy you some chips.
He'll buy you a chicken burger with a sausage. But the only thing is, he is quite busy at the moment. He's out a lot, if you know what I mean. He's sometimes got a guest. So just knock before you come in.
Let's get Toby 1,000 tester pots sent to his house, shall we? So,
yeah. I think that's not a bad idea. We need like some mood lighting in there as well, Tobe. Don't you think?
To match my mood.
What, dark?
Very grim.
Turn the lights off. And then...
Yeah, no, because otherwise, look at Al. Don't Al look comfortable? Don't Al look like a big teddy bear tonight?
Not, forget, this is a podcast, really.
Oh, yeah, sorry, everybody who's listening.
Yeah, we're getting a bit visual.
Al looks very comfortable.
The title says I'm rocking gently in my chair.
He's in his little rocking chair.
He's still awake.
So we've talked about motivation. Now, I suppose we could talk about the weather as well and the dark. You know, that's
we're British. We've got to talk about the weather. Oh, by the way, boys, we've had somebody in Qatar download the podcast, and I'm going to say this wrong, Nicaragua. Yeah, we've had somebody from there. Now, obviously, Marathon Talks, you know, bless them, are gone. There's only room for one running podcast to overtake, take the top spot, really, isn't there? You know, and the fact that we're global, you know, we've got that one listener in Malta.
Ticks a lot of boxes.
It does tick a lot of boxes. So, guys, if you're listening to this, can you make sure that you tell everybody about this podcast and push us up the charts? Do reviews. Be nice. Don't be horrible about Al or Tobe because they can't help it. Push us up the charts, right? It doesn't even have to be on the sports charts. We can be under the sort of nutrition part-time vegan charts. You can like roast us right up to the top there. And then we become the biggest, and then we can go out on the top after they've done 600 shows. We could go out after 30. I would say 6, but maybe we could get to like 30 something, and then we go out like that, couldn't we?
Well, you know, it's a bit like, you know, they only made 12 episodes of The Office and 12 episodes of 40 Towers. You know, you can do too much.
We could be like Nico Rosberg. We go win the world championship. Say, you know what, you can do one. We're out of here. Have it. We could be like that. So anyway, but we can't get there without our viewers' help. And if you want to be part of the show, email in somethingrother.com@gmail something, and we will get you on the show.
longrunShow@gmail.com.
Talking of which, can I give? I've just got, because bless him, Matt Harris emailed in quite a while ago. Sorry, Matt, and he loves this YouTube channel. Blah blah blah. Mad love. What are your thoughts on a fast stability shoe with some zing and liveliness? Now, the reason I've held on to this, Matt, is because we've got Al, who's one of them, and I'm not talking about, because now I can't say he's one of them because we're the same, but he's a stability shoe wearer. The before I get on to the old fella, what I would say is, from my personal point of view, someone who does lazy pronate, I find that the fastest stable shoe that I've got in my arsenal is my Saucony Endorphin Pros. Now, whether it's Pro 1, Pro 2, it doesn't matter which version. They're the sort of fastest, most stable shoe that I've got out of them. I wouldn't call the Pro a super shoe, but it's, you know, it's a fast shoe with a plate in it. I find that the most stable, reactive shoe that I've got. I don't know whether that helps at all, but
that's interesting because I mean I'm in a position that's similar sort of thing that you know, I wear stability shoes, I wear Brooks Adrenalines, and I'm looking for something that I can, like a race shoe, really, that, you know, that could help me in my marathon.
Well, you've got the Saucony are coming out with I think it's either the Tempest or Tempest. They're trying to liven their stability shoe up with a I think it's a Power Run Plus midsole in it, so that'll be a bit lively. I don't know whether it's got a plate in or not. We don't get them over here for a while, but I think if you're looking for, you know, you want to go down that sort of plated shoe, you need to find something that is relatively stable. For me, is the Pro out of the ones out there. The Asics Metaspeed Sky was quite a stable ride for me, but it's quite narrow at the back. So the Pro is a little bit more versatile, I would say. You can use it for half and marathon. So that might be worth a shot.
You know, because I'm sure, like lots of people, you know, there is an expense issue. I can't have sort of dozens of pairs of trainers in a sort of rotation and things. I just feel that, you know, I found my trainers perhaps a little bit heavy when I did my marathon, and perhaps could do with something a bit lighter.
Those Brooks shoes should be burnt. They're the same shoes. If you went back in time with the doc and in the DeLorean, you would go into a Brooks store and they would have the same pair of shoes. They are unbelievably. I tell you what, Brooks, right? They need to have a look at themselves on their daily trainers and all this. They're selling you the same shoes that they've been selling for the last 10 years. They just keep changing the numbers. Apart from the Hyperion Tempo, which is an awesome shoe.
Why should I get a pair of them?
Well, you can, but it depends whether you want to go plated or not. But the Hyperion Tempo is an amazing shoe, and they've got 3 shoes coming out this year, which are based around that, new versions. And I hope to God that they've actually pulled their fingers out and done something. Because if I was working at Brooks, I'd have to have a real good look at myself in the mirror, because I think they just rely on people like you, Wilco, just to keep buying them. Yeah, because you know they work for you, right? And they have done for 10 years. You go, oh, number 19's out, I'm going to go and get them. But you don't need to do that. There's so many other awesome shoes out there. So sort yourself out, boy.
Right.
There you go. Pep talk over.
I need a good sort of half-hour chat around the streets of Hartford on a Tuesday night about what sort of pair of trainers I want.
Yeah, and I've just realised Brooks are unlikely now to sponsor this.
Oh, well, that's a shame, because I like them. I see Fletcher's just asked about, and what about, and this is sort of like a question, you know, for myself as well. What about stable shoes for big people, that 16 to 18 stone? Because when I first bought them, I'm thinking, oh, it's cushioned because I'm a big lad. I thought, you know, I'm putting all the pressure on. I don't want to be injuring myself.
Yeah. Well, that's where gait analysis,
sort of like the pronation thing and all that sort of thing.
Yeah. Get your gait analysed properly, not by some 16-year-old in a Sports Direct or whatever. Make sure that you get your gait analysed properly, and then go down that path. There's plenty of good shoes out there. You may need a shoe like we've said it before, or you say Fletch, you know, I put him into the glide rides all those years ago. And, you know, a shoe like that's got a stable platform, decent rocker in it. It's a slightly firmer compound. Shoe like that, you know, Saucony Triumph. It's a good shoe, good wide platform. There's some shoes from New Balance that are quite, again, wide and stable. But you got to look at the Fresh Foam X, not necessarily the Fuel Cell, because that's a softer compound. So yeah, look at those sort of shoes. But I personally, as always go and get your gait analysed and get some advice from somebody who knows more about it than I do. and most other shoe reviewers out there, because we're not what they call feet people, pedia, whatever they're called. I don't know.
Careful.
Yeah, I know. It's what I'm. Was it piscatorian? I am, and I was it. I eat fish or something.
You eat swimming pools.
That's it. But yeah, no. I would always go and get your gait analysed, and I would listen to a specialist on that subject. But yeah, for bigger guys, I would say look for something that's got a nice stable platform, the foam, the compound, the EVA, or if it's another compound is not too soft, something probably with a rocker in it. But look where your foot strike is. Obviously, that's something you can improve over improving your form. Because if you're like Fletch, for example, he leans forward when he runs, he puts a lot of load through his bottom half because of where he's leaning forward. You look at his hip position; it's well out, and there's a big load going through to the back of his legs. Just for where I've run with him and seen the pictures of him. So if he was to straighten up, more hips in a more natural position, work on strengthening his glutes and the lower part of his legs, along with his core, that would able to say his trunk would be able to hold that up. His foot placement would come forward, and the pressure that he's putting through in terms of being that sort of big clumpy foot strike would alleviate because it would lighten him up. So a lot of it is to do with that as well. So it's not necessarily all about the shoes. It's about improving your form. We had a comment about cadence earlier. If you look at the technique in which you're running, that will improve everything and take away the pressure necessarily on the shoes. Fair point, Al?
Yeah, no, I was just going to say we've kind of gone off the stability shoe topic, but it brings me back to the point that with good form and strength and conditioning, some people say, you can transition away from stability shoes.
Absolutely.
If you are a heel striker, it's going to be a little bit more tricky.
Yeah.
But in terms of the pronation, you can, and I think I've kind of managed to do that. So I've kind of moved into shoes with either very little stability. For speed work, I like the Prism, but they were soft, and I don't think I'd try and run a marathon in them because I think they'd kill your ankles. But yeah, think about strength work. It then creates the ability to go into a neutral shoe. There are more options, and some people, if they know that's not going to work for them, they'll go for the inserts. But you then have to think about the cost of your inserts every time you change your shoe. So that's not a guaranteed way forward.
I saw a shoe question on the feed.
Brandon Lewis wants to know what's in our shoe rotation currently.
Big shout out, Brandon. Love
Very
it. Firstly, Brandon,
waiting.
what's in yours? You show me yours, I'll show you mine. What is it? Toe. Be careful. Well, Wilco, we know, is stuck in 1987 with his Brooks.
A beautiful place to be, mate.
Brooks, what are they?
21s now. I bought a new pair last week.
No, but what are they? What ones? GTS?
Yeah.
GTS 11s. Sorry, 21s. Same thing. It's a shame I haven't got, if I had because I've got some pictures on here. Actually, I wonder if I can, no, they won't come through. If I could send them the toe while we're doing this, because I've got some pictures of Brooks shoes on my phone, because funny enough, we're doing a video about Brooks, which afterwards I will never ever get a pair of Brooks sent to me. But there is a reason, because I did a bit of background information on Brooks, and their shoes, I think it was the Ghost 9 or 8, funny enough, looks exactly the same as the latest model. I think you've been well and truly had with your Brooks. I can't find it now, and it's taking too long to find, but I will find that for next week. Toe's been shopping, by the way. Not only has he been buying Cindy flowers and chocolates and taking it out to waffles, Toe's been purchasing some shoes. Haven't you, Toe?
My bank account's not my best friend at the moment.
I know. Poor old Cindy. She's enjoying herself, but anyway.
No, I've been got with the Speed 2 rain shields are coming in soon. I need to have a chat about it. UPS have kept them a bit too long. Should have been.
They're not ready there because tomorrow's going to rain. You know that, didn't you? You're going to need.
Yeah, they haven't arrived yet.
Get wet feet.
So they're on their way. Edinburgh Marathon shoes arrived.
Do you want to tell everyone what they are?
Well, if I do use them, that'll be another set of Alpha Flies.
Okay.
And then
Another set. Another set.
Big time.
Yeah.
Big time. I know. He's trying to actually find a Cindy.
Talking of Saucony Pro 2s, I'm imminently going to purchase my set for marathon training, except the only problem is currently my size is only available in white.
What's the issue?
Al's
Yeah.
getting excited.
What size were they? Remind me.
11.5.
Oh, need to go up to 12.
Well, yeah, I think I
He's
should
in
do
11.5.
12, but 11.5 is the closest at the moment, so I was going to have to risk it. But I think down the toe path in the
You
winter.
can't risk it. You can't risk 11.5 if you're not the right size in those pros type. I tell you now, you can't risk it because they do come up wrong. Some of them.
I was going to try them on and see.
Well, I could save that your DPD driver, the ag of driving around your gaff while you're, upstairs busy with Cindy, the ag of trying to leave the parcel outside.
Who's
The fact
Cindy?
is, you need the right size.
Right, so, well, I'm waiting for. I'll keep on checking the stock. I'll check it again today. I'm hoping
They're
after the
change.
new
They're
year.
being, bruv, the freeze coming out. They're getting rid of. They're not making any new ones.
Well, I need them. What am I going to
It's
do?
just so confusing. All these bloody
It
trainers,
is.
isn't it?
Before Chris started going on at me, I had a pair of Brooks.
We told you everything. We
Worse
told
than
you
that.
everything.
There's
Right.
a video on that.
Does that not tell you everything you need to know about Brooks? Hashtag not getting sponsored. Al?
Right. Well, I'm in the middle of a bit of a Hoka loving. So
Yeah, you are,
obviously,
aren't you?
I did the white speed goats to go up that big mountain in
And run
Wales.
around London.
and then run around London. And I might have done a couple of park runs in them as well, because they're a good all-round shoe.
Why would you wear a trail shoe to do a park run and run around London? You're nuts.
Stevenage was muddy. Come on.
You didn't go down the muddy bit.
I know, because I had white shoes on. See, there's logic there.
He's no
Anyway,
idiot.
I've got white Hoka Carbon X, which is my everyday. And the reason, like you said, why was I looking grumpy? My Hoka Mac 4s have been in the post office for 3 days and haven't bothered to tell me. So I've missed out on 3 days of running. On my
What
Mac
colour did
4s.
you go for?
White.
Is that a
think they might
serious
have-
question?
They might have an orange kind of sole on it or something. So there you go. I'm just buying up every pair of Hokas in white I can before they
That's
send
hilarious. That is hilarious. Actually, he's
So,
come
do you have
back.
a serious question for me?
He said he's just come back round and he said, "Have you tried the Rebel version 2?" Yeah, we've done a review on those, round, and check it out. You do need to check your sizing on those. I would recommend probably half a size, but everybody's different. But they do come up. My ones I wear a thin sock instead of a twin skin sock because they do come up quite tight. I can't believe how you've got a pair of Mac 4s. What are you going to wear to run up Ben Nevis?
Oh, that's in September. There's huge amounts of shoes coming out before
Big
then.
O 5s will be out by then, bro. But
I might go Vivo barefoot. You never know.
Oh yeah, I saw a geezer the other day. Was it me and you running along? There was a geezer in barefoot.
Probably.
Yeah, it was. I think it was. Where was that? It was a geezer running along barefoot, and we just looked at each other and went, "What a hero!"
I've got a
But
pair,
yeah,
but they are quite cold in the winter because there's no
Yeah.
cushioning.
It says the
you're-
man that got undressed at the top of Snowdon.
yeah, the man
That's
who
why I
was
confirm
caught
they're
naked
cold. It's
and
cold.
nearly arrested. Mind you, Tobe, you wouldn't have known next. You never got to the top. We've got no evidence.
Just that
What?
video and that picture I took, but it seems to have gone missing.
I never see it. Did you see it, Al?
No.
Wilco, did you see him at the top of Snowdon?
No.
Never seen
No.
anything. Wilco, are you going to come to top Ben Nevis with us?
When is it?
September.
No.
It's a good job. It's actually
He thought about that for a while, didn't he?
we've got a few Tuesdays before now and then.
Yeah, we could
Don't you
work. on it.
worry.
You
The
bore
peer
me as
pressure.
much as you like. I ain't coming.
Can you email in at longrunsomething@gmail.com and let us know if you think Wilco should run up Ben Nevis with us in September?
Wilco, if you're doing Edinburgh, it's got Arthur's Seat. You're kind of halfway up.
Yeah,
So
you're
might
halfway
as well
there.
go the whole way.
Yeah, it's flat as a proverbial pancake going up
No,
Edinburgh.
Arthur's Seat isn't. You run round and round.
No,
and
you
round
don't go
Arthur's
around
Seat.
that. No, we ain't going there. No,
But if you're
those
going to
shenanigans.
Scotland, Wilco, you might as well just like stay there and then run up Ben Nevis.
Yeah, pop down to Newcastle, do the Great North Run, come back.
It's
got
actually
it
not
all
your worst
planned,
idea,
isn't
bruv. Because I think it's the week after.
Oh well, I
So-
definitely ain't going if it's a week after.
Oh no, you got to get out there, bruv. It's the highest mountain in the UK. What opportunity do you get to run up the highest mountain in the UK? It's going to be epic.
I'm
JBS
sure
is
you'll
a
have a
big
lovely
shout out, by the
time.
way. JBS for the super chat. Thank you very much, bruv.
I'm
He's
sure
gonna
you'll have
be
a
there.
lovely time, and perhaps we can go away for a week and think about how I'm not going to go.
No,
So
can
that's,
everybody email in?
Do a
please.
poll.
So
Do a
that's.
poll.
I think we'll wind it up, shall we? We've done the hour.
Bleeding hell.
I know.
Where's that gone? And we haven't mentioned, we have not mentioned Toby having 2 Audis. So we've done really, really well getting through that 60 minutes. Can you let us know on email if you think the show should be shortened or lengthened? Because you could probably cut
Please
out.
don't say that you think it should be lengthened.
I reckon you could cut out 15 minutes of this because actually the bit that we added, well, when I say we added value, I think Al added some value. 5-10 minutes, maybe.
There's a lot of love for the endorphin speeds. Perhaps I'll get a pair of them.
No, they're unstable, Wilco. I would really, really recommend you check that because they are not. They're over. A lot of people jump on the bandwagon for those. You have to be very careful.
Cool.
They're a soft compound. They're a TPU plate, so you don't get the rigidity of a carbon plate.
It's very difficult because you do err on the side of caution, don't you? Because you worry. I am because I worry about.
Well, that's why I say about the pros that little bit firmer. You've got to be very careful because it can cause problems. If you're running forms not bang on and you're in a too soft a shoe, it will cause you injury. So if you've got a bad back, bad hip, something like that, it will aggravate it if you don't strengthen that before you go into it. So just think about it. I've said it a million times. The Saucony Endorphin Speed 2 is the best shoe out there. But that doesn't mean it's for everybody because everybody's different, funny enough. So just, make sure you get something that works for you. So it's funny because Posty said to me the other day, Toe, we was in the car after, he said, this is Posty who wears Kayano 28. It's one of the highest stability shoes out. Oh yeah, I got myself a pair of Speeds. I went, Posty, why have you bought yourself a pair? Well, they're on cheap. He says, so I had to have it. I mean, fair play to him. He's going to run them for 5-10K. They're brilliant. They'll do it. But
he was tearing around doing his half an hour, though.
He's a machine.
Strava, he was smashing it. So
he's an absolute machine. But he just made me laugh the fact because he got Speeds because they're on cheap. But for him, 5-10K, they're going to be brilliant. But you're talking about marathons and stuff, Wilco. You need to do a little bit more.
I need to do a bit more homework.
Al, you're right. You look like you've slipped lower in your chair, bruv. Are you having your feet washed by the nurse? Or is she cutting your toenails? Have a look. Sorry, you're on the podcast. Oh, he's ruined it again.
Guys, he's got too much noise.
Have you seen the time? That's why he's falling asleep.
Right, he's got to go and have his tea. We've all got to go and have our tea. So thanks very much for joining us for this memorable first live podcast of 2022. We'll probably be back next week because everybody will be mourning about marathon talk and somebody will have to come along and pick everybody up again. So it might as well be us. Thanks very much for joining us again. If you haven't managed to, if you're on Facebook thinking, where the hell's this live broadcast? Where's it gone? And you weren't able to get on YouTube, then you can, fear not, folks, you can download it as a podcast at Spotify, Apple, and all your normal podcast places. It'll be up in a couple of hours or something like that. So you can take it out for your long run in the rain tomorrow. Thanks very much for joining us again. Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Toe. Thanks, Al. And we shall see you next week. Thanks very much.
See you next week, bro. Those tiles, Toe.